Hello learners, in this session we will discuss about how to deal with the speaking part of the IELTS. This is again very important to know a few things about IELTS speaking part, and you can easily target good scoring in this one. So before starting, as you know that in the IELTS speaking test there are 3 rounds of interviews. The first round will be your introductory round where examiner will ask you short question answer. It can be based on your hometown, sports, entertainment. It can be about anything, but you're supposed to speak up on that thing perfectly. Speaking part 2 will be a cue card where you have to speak on a topic for 2 minutes. Make sure that you have 1 minute time to prepare your answer. In that you can prepare your thought in a proper way. Then you can speak up. Then speaking part 3 will be based on your speaking part 2. That is your discussion round where the examiner will ask you more questions based on that. So ultimately the examiner will be checking your grammar part, vocab, logic and your pronunciation part. So there are some tricks which are very important to keep into mind before starting. So let's discuss with that. The first tip that I like to give you, that is be fluent and liberated. That's very important, guys. In the IELTS examination, in the speaking part, they do not check your knowledge. I mean to say, they do not check your GK. So don't worry about it, because ultimately this exam is all about checking your communication skill. So you need to be very fluent while speaking up, and do not make your written speech too fast, otherwise it will be difficult for examiner to understand what you are speaking there. So my recommendation to you that you speak slow, but it should be flow should be very good. Give pause where there is required. Then it should be very easy for examiner to understand what you mean to say. Second is practice answering sample questions. What you can do at your home, you can make a list of different topics and try to make answer of that. Then try to speak up in front of the mirror, or if you have somebody with you who can speak with you in a proper way, you can have conversation with that person. So it will definitely help you out to develop your thought process and have understanding about the sample questions. Number 3, ask the question again if you need to. Basically what happens, sometimes students, they are not able to understand what the question is being asked by the examiner. So at that time, what you have to do, if you do not understand the question, please ask the question again from the exam. You can say that, pardon me, or can you please repeat the question. Rather giving the wrong answer, you must ask. That's the very good idea to ask the question. Now extend your speech. Make sure, guys, till the time examiner is not asking you to stop, do not stop, and make a proper rhythm and try to speak up as much as you can, and do not repeat the statements what you're speaking. Be coherent. Make sure that you use proper linking devices there, and every structure, every paragraph should match with each other. That's the most crucial part of that. Give yourself time to think. Sometimes it happens that you do not understand, or you don't know what to speak up fast. At that time, what you can do, take time. For that you can use some words like, you can say, as a matter of fact, let me think about it. You can say these lines and then try to speak up on that. That will give a better impression in the mindset of the examiner. Develop your answer. Whatever the answer that you're speaking up, guys, try to develop the thought process on that and try to think, memorize fast, then speak up at the same time. It will develop your cohesion part, also accuracy. Then you need to understand that the examiner is going to check you on 4 bases. There are 4 parameters you need to follow. That is the first, fluency and cohesion, which accounted for 25%. So how logically you are using the linking devices. Is your paragraph matching with each other or not? Everything that matters too much, 25% goes for that. Second is vocabulary part, that is called lexical resource, that accounted for 25% again. How good vocab you are using up in your speaking test, that matters too much. So you can make a list of the different categories of the vocabularies from different topics like hometown, from weather, from communication, from tourism. You can make different vocabularies. Pronunciation part matters too much. Make sure, guys, pronunciation doesn't mean your accent. There is no value of your accent. Yes, your pronunciation should be accurate. Your sounds, your syllable stress and word stress, that matters too much. And your intonation pattern. Intonation pattern means whether you are putting fluctuation in your speech or not. Rhythm should be very good. Up, down in your speech. That matters. For example, if I say, I want to go market, it can have different meaning. If I say, if I focus on the I word, like I want to go market, that gives a different sense. If I say I want to go market, that's a different sense. I want to go market, that has a different sense. So it matters too much fluctuation in your speech, that is called intonation pattern. So take care of, it's a part of the pronunciation part. For example, let me give you one more example. There is a word really. It can have two meanings. It depends how I'm speaking this word. For example, somebody is coming to me and saying I've scored 9 bands in the art speaking. If I start my tone from bottom to top, like really, that means I'm excited to know about it. And if I start at the same time my tone from top to bottom, really, that means I'm in doubt. So it can have different meaning. Make sure that you make a proper use of the intonation pattern. Syllable stress and word stress, that matters too much, so you need to learn those things. Which part of the word that you are focusing upon, that matters. For example, photographer, many people, they pronounce it as a photographer. That's wrong. You need to focus on the T, photographer. So why I'm saying photographer, T-O, there is a rule for that. You need to learn these rules. Right, then sound. There are 44 sounds in English, guys. 5 vowels constitute 20 different sounds and 24 consonant sounds. So you need to have a deep understanding about those things. These things contribute to your pronunciation. Make sure if you have problem with your tongue, some students, they have problem with the pronunciation like sir, sha, rather than saying Sushma, they say Susma. So they can have practice on different kind of tongue twisters like she sell in the seashore. Or like some people, they have problem with the r sound, so they can have different practice on that, like upper roller, low roller. They can practice this upper roller, low roller. They can say I need New York, I know New York, these words. They can say Sushma, stupid superstitious, Sushma, stupid superstitious. So these words they can practice it up. Now, grammar part, it is accounted for 25% again in the IELTS speaking test. Make sure you use wide range of the grammar. There should not be any kind of problem with your tense or morals, preposition, conjunction, anything. Everything should be in apple pie order. So that will be your perfect speaking part, guys. And don't use slangs and make your rate of speech between 130 to 150 words per minute. Some people, they feel that if I use like American or British slangs, I can have, better score. But that's completely wrong, guys. They are not going to check your slangs because this is a formal examination. They don't bother about your slangs. So please avoid slangs as much as you can. Do not use any slangs. Like some people, they say, I'm gonna do this and go, like I'll let you know, all these things they use. I airheaded kind of person, I want to get some G's for a while. These words are not accepted at all. Use professional English and use good vocabularies in that. And do not try to speak up too fast, because when you speak too fast, it is very difficult for examiner to understand what you are planning to say, and ultimately you'll be losing your score. And if you speak too slow, then it will be very boring speech for the examiner. So make your rate of speech between 130 to 150 words. That will be very good for you to score well in the IELTS speaking test.